talking about the NFL today.
All about the NFL, man. We're gonna get into something that I showed you yesterday, man, about the Eagles.
You're just gonna be high and mighty as a Cowboys fan.
No, I'm speaking truths. That's the thing is that people are talking about the Cowboys, right? They're a disappointing team. They're a bad team. Why aren't we talking about the Eagles in the same sentence? And I got some information to back that up. We're going to get into that. Another thing that I saw that was interesting late yesterday after the show, the football Hall of Fame nominees.
That's right.
Class. We're going to get into that, man.
CJ Stroud, kind of making an ass out of himself, maybe. He's not, I don't know, man. I can see it two different ways when it comes to it. Can't wait till we discuss that.
Why would you want to support another QB?
Well,
right?
It's not that. It's just the way he said it. Can you turn the chat on, please?
Yeah. Morning, Sam. What's going on, man? Good thing you're here, man. Thanks for joining the chat. We appreciate you. Look at that. We're just talking about, some graphic artists that we have here in San Antonio, man. And right on cue, Bear County Social Apparel releases a version of a mock jersey.
Nice.
Not bad at all. I like it, man. We'll show that on, during the show. I saw the latest Diddy news, man. He ain't coming out and sniffing the free air for a while.
Maybe even ever.
Ever, dude. He's going to be in there for a long time. Better get used to it. You hear his lawyer say the conditions are deplorable.
Welcome to another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
It's Thursday in the Alamo City, and this is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the west side of San Antonio. My name is Mike Jimenez. That is Joe Garcia. It is a beautiful day in San Antonio. I'm excited. I had a good run yesterday. 4 miles, man.
That's good.
I did 4 miles. I'm back down. I'm kind of yo-yoing a little bit. Still down 22 pounds from before. A little bit of a thinner face. You got to change the photo of me, Joe. Come on, man. Got to get the trimmer Jimenez.
Well, you got to send me a better photo, man.
I know, man. Effing cute. Incoming, baby.
No,
incoming. Man. Lots to get into today. We do sports, pop culture, nostalgia. Why do we do this show? Well, A, it's fun, right?
Yeah.
But B, it's because local sports talk radio goes dark between the hours of 10 and 2, right? They go to Jim Rome. They go to the national stuff, Colin Cowherd and stuff like that, right? But you can come to the Alamo City Sportscast and you can actually listen to local sports talk radio, local sports talk, little things about San Antonio, South Texas. It's all about the Alamo City.
We're talking about food during this last episode, talking Bill Miller's, Griff's Better Burgers,
Gus's Chicken.
Where else are you going to get that? The national news don't know nothing about San Antonio.
They don't, man.
No, man.
And just keep it local, keep it poodle. And again, like and subscribe. For those of you who are watching the show, hit the like button, dude. We see so many people who watch this show. Got to hit the like button along the way, man.
Hit that like button, man. Give us some love.
Do us a favor. And if you want to, keep the show going a little bit, you can always buy us a beer.
Yeah, buy us a beer, help the show grow, keep it going. We appreciate that,
hit the
man.
QR code, a super chat. Again, you're part of the show by leaving your comments on our YouTube stream. Those who leave the best comments get read out there. It helps direct the show because this is the people's podcast.
There you go.
Again, you can show us some support by buying us a beer. And again, we're not doing this to pay the rent. We're not doing this to pay the mortgage or CPS or SAWS. What we're doing is we're buying more equipment with this money. Just keeping the show going.
Yeah, buying better equipment, being able to put up nice graphics and better intros, music, the whole bit, man. And you know what? If you like what we're doing here, right? You like the show, you like the look of the show, you can get this done too. If you're looking to be an aspiring podcaster, live streamer, make no mistake, man. We're using Talk Studio, right? From Streamlabs, or Talk Now Studio from Streamlabs. in conjunction with OBS Studio. If you want to go ahead and just come out of the gate firing, get your live stream, your podcast off the ground, go and check out Streamlabs Ultra. It has everything you need here. You can do your live streaming with the Streamlabs, let's say, application that you can download on your desktop. You can go ahead and make little clips to put out on social media. It has a standalone talk live studio like we're using right now that's strictly on the internet. It has a YouTube editor, everything you need to get your stream going. If you click on that QR code, it helps us. We get a little bit of money in return for recommending Streamlabs, which I've been using for years.
Well, we know that Brandon and Sith Elias got going, and apparently he says that he went on a Mike style rant yesterday. I'm going to try not to have a Greg Popovich rant today. Let's limit those to about one a week.
No,
okay?
God.
Sometimes it bubbles to the surface, but, today I think we're going to go away from that, right? So we have lots to get into today. First of all, Micah Parsons is pissed. Micah Parsons, I kind of think, is he being a leader right here? Or is he throwing his teammates under the bus, saying that they're not trying, they don't want it as much as him? We'll get into that. Houston Texans, CJ Stroud, their star quarterback, says he wasn't trying to little bro Caleb Williams on Sunday Night Football. CJ Stroud was mic'd up and people heard what he had to say, and they thought to themselves, wait a minute, CJ, aren't you just a second-year player? Why are you over here sounding like you're Patrick Mahomes?
No.
Why are you sounding like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, someone who's been around the block? So did he do wrong to Caleb Williams? And Caleb Williams' reaction, we're going to show that, was kind of funny. We're going to get into the Philadelphia Eagles because the Eagles play the Saints this weekend. Eagles 1-1, Saints 2-0. Eagles lost a devastating game in week 2. You take a look at the fact that they just missed a drop pass down the stretch. Last 2 minutes of the game, they fumbled the game away, basically is what they did, right? But the question becomes, we talk about how bad the Cowboys play sometimes, and the Cowboys have lost back-to-back home games. The playoff game to Green Bay, and then this game to the Saints, right? But we got to shine the spotlight on the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, if the Cowboys are a bad team, what does that make the Eagles, who have lost, 9 out of 11 games?
Yeah.
What does it make them? And is Jalen Hurts low-key trash?
Yeah. I mean, that's his thing. This is this graphic that Ernie the Cowboys fan put up, right? And I thought this was humorous, man. Is that Jalen Hurts has turned over the ball 24 times since the beginning of last season. This is the most in the NFL. The Eagles are now 2-9 in their last 11 games. Mm-hmm. And nobody wants to talk about that. They say the Cowboys are the stinky team in the NFC East. I don't know. I think the Eagles might just be that team that sneaks by and is even worse than the Cowboys, man.
Well, we have a lot of NFL talk to get into. Week 3 starts tonight. Can I interest you in a Patriots versus Jets game? We'll break that down. Yeah. We'll do some pop culture. Tony Ornelas reached out to us on our YouTube stream asking, how was Bill Miller's yesterday? Dude, I ended the show yesterday with a big old hankering for Bill Miller's, man. I had to get out the door. Guess what I had over there, Joe?
Po' boy.
I had a baked potato stuffed with brisket.
No, that's not bad at all.
Dude, it was amazing.
How much that set you back? Probably like $12, $13.
Yeah, around there when you add the iced tea and all that. But let me ask you this. When you eat a baked potato, do you just eat the inside or do you eat the skin?
Nah, man, I don't eat that skin. That's nasty.
Oh, dude, the skin's the best part. I think it's even the healthiest part.
No.
Dude, I love the skin, dude.
I've been in the dirt, bro.
That's been in the dirt. Well, dude.
Oh, you probably eating mud pies and stuff as a kid, dude.
Come on, man.
That's nasty,
apples
man.
have been in the dirt, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't eat an apple, man. I like oranges. I like stuff that's nice and clean. A banana, something that's not laying on the ground, dude. I got this thing, dude. You don't know what's been there, dude.
I mean, come on. Pecans are on the floor. Come on.
They land on top of the ground, but they're in a husk.
They're in a husk. They're in a shell.
In a shell, bro. You don't know? I mean, something pissed on it. I mean, at least you got the husk there to help you.
Oh, dude, food is food, man.
Nasty,
HEB washes it.
No, they don't. That's
what they do.
No, they don't. They don't probably
gets washed by somebody.
No, it probably get washed by an animal peeing on it somewhere, man.
Tony says, eat the skin, bro. Dude, I'm telling you, man, it is delicious. And I was never like that up until maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. Now I'm like, that's the best part of the baked potato.
That's unclean.
Do you know what was unclean? The tackling done by the Dallas Cowboys this past weekend as they got rocked by the Saints. What was the score, Joe? Was it like 44-19? Something to that effect? 44-19 over at Jerry World. The great stat that I saw, by the way, was the fact that the Saints had 135 yards rushing before they were touched.
Before they were touched.
That they got past the Cowboys defensive line into the midfield, into the secondary before getting touched. Think about that. They rushed for 160 something, but 130 of it, they weren't even touched. They went past the line. It wasn't like they got hit at the line and they got dragged in for 2 yards. No, They went 135 yards without being touched. It's a terrible stat. Micah Parsons right now, speaking to the media yesterday, what he had to say about his team, and he used 2 words that I got to bring up. Desire is one of them. Do they have enough desire? And do they have the technique? Okay, desire is one way of telling his teammates, you guys just don't want it. You guys are not as good as me. Technique is going after the coaches, right? I mean, who's responsible for technique?
That's on the coaches, man.
So for Micah Parsons to go out and say it is obvious that you guys didn't want it as much as I did, that there's a technique issue going on, is this a good or a bad thing for him to address the media and say stuff like that?
And there we are. We're showing it on screen right now. I don't think it's a bad deal for him to be calling out his teammates. I mean, they lacked any heart, man. And that's the thing with this Cowboys club. Sometimes they just come out flat. They play without any energy. They don't have any heart. They just feel like, I don't want to play today. But you know what? You can't do that. They're paying you to go out there and be a professional.
Right.
And play at the highest level. You can't take days off. It doesn't matter if you're hurt or not. Go out there and help your team, if you're able to.
So here's what Parsons had to say. He said, quote, to have back-to-back embarrassing losses at home, I get the fan frustration, but I don't think there's anyone more frustrated than me. I'm a competitor. I feel like I'm a warrior. I battle like everyone else battles, but at the end of the day, it's all about wanting it more. To me, not having everyone want it as bad as you do, that kind of hurts the most. If you're willing to take a beating like that, that says a lot. Later on, goes on to say, I think I'll find it tougher if people don't step up. To me, it's like a prove it weekend. I'm not putting anything on any of my teammates. I'm just saying that, myself included, I need to step up. We all need to step up. It would hurt me more if we didn't step up and we all played down to the standard again, to that standard of last weekend again, because it just tells me that we're not moving forward in the direction we should be moving, end quote. Okay. He says he's not throwing his team under the bus.
Kind of sounds like he is.
Kind of sounds like he is, though.
So is he like he's saying that I played at a high level and nobody else did? No, Micah Parsons, you shit the bed too.
Okay, he is coming out and saying
he played bad this last game.
Well, he did. He had different looks. The Saints sent different looks at him. They would single coverage him. They would double. They chip him. They would do all sorts of things.
Well, if he's going to call his teammates out, he should call himself out for playing poor.
Well, he calls his teammates out and then he tries to lump himself in, right? He's like, I didn't play as well as I should have played, but I wanted it more than you did, obviously.
Well, not so much, because it's still translated to a 44-19 beatdown.
Right. Sith coming out saying his boys aren't fond of him. Parsons isn't God's gift to the earth. I know he rubs people the wrong way. He just didn't do his part either. That's the thing. But don't you win as a team and lose as a team?
Yeah, but Tex-Mex Frank also brings up something. This could be a two-edged sword, right? Because you want to call out your team for playing poor. You got to lump yourself in there too and say, I need to do better.
Right.
I should do better. But look at what Tex-Mex Frank says. Parsons mad. I don't want to hear it. When Troy Aikman got pissed, we heard about it years later. Keep it in the huddle, man. And that's the thing. Maybe he should keep it in the huddle, call out his teammates, have a meeting and say, hey, guys, we need to play better, man. And I'm putting myself in the whole mix as well. I played poor. And,
it kind of felt to me like Parsons kind of backtracked a little bit, that he wanted to lash out at his teammates, because think about what he says right there. He says it's all about wanting it more. It's the desire to win the game. And they didn't have it as much as me. And then to lump himself in with them going, I need to try harder just like they need to try harder. He's calling his team soft.
Well, isn't this Cowboys team, they're not known for being tough. Look what happens when they play against a better team. 49ers, for example, they get punched in the face bad. You know, Green Bay Packers came a calling last year. What happened? They folded.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, I mean, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, and I want to see this team do well. But damn it, dude. We're always set up for disappointment. I'm tired of that. At some point, the players should be tired of losing and say, you know what? Not this year, man.
Blogging the Boys, our good friend RJ Ochoa has a column saying, you know what? It's the Cowboys run game that is holding the offense back. Think about what he's saying right there. The Cowboys do not play well when they're down. They are a front-running team. In fact, I would say that if the Cowboys are up 2 scores, they're going to win every single game. Cowboys go up 10, they're going to win. They play well with a lead. But when the Cowboys are down and they become one-dimensional offensively, they struggle. And I read this headline earlier today. Just again, the Cowboys run game is holding the offense back. Why is that? Because when the Saints were scoring touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, it's not like the Cowboys were being shut out. The Cowboys were putting up points. Now, they only put up, 19 for the game or whatever it was, mostly in the first half. I think they had 16 at halftime. If I was to tell you that your team has 16 points at halftime and is on track to score 32, you'd probably take it. That's not a bad number to hit.
Yeah, but the Cowboys are predictable, and I think that's the biggest faux pas that they have, and that's probably why they've had the struggles that they've had under the Mike McCarthy era. You know, they've had different offensive coordinators, different defensive coordinators. But at the end of the day, they've just become a predictable team. And the thing is, teams already know this. So it's not like they have to do a big scheme to get ready for Cowboys. You know, they're just like, you know what? Let's take away the run. They ain't got no running game. Let's force Dak to pass. Let's go ahead and just keep the pressure on him. Let's drop back and have our corners guard their best guys.
Right.
I mean, it's not rocket science. But the thing is, under the Mike McCarthy era, this Cowboys team has been disappointing. They haven't lived up to the billing, you know? So I think at some point, Jerry needs to move on from Mike McCarthy, and maybe this team needs to go and look for a new head coach that's more in tune with today's scheme, you know, something different.
Well, that's on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, but I'm saying at the end of the day, like you see these younger coaches, right, in the NFL, and what do they have in common with the NBA coaches that are younger? They run different schemes. They know a little bit better.
It's more modern.
They know how to get in contact, you know, and communicate with the players. They have something in common, right? For example, the Miami Dolphins coach, he's fairly young.
He is young.
You know?
He's very young. And, you know, we had a comment earlier from Tony saying that the Cowboys are soft for letting the Saints go in there and beat them. The Saints might actually be the better team. Okay? They play each other 10 times. I bet you the Saints win that game at least 7. The way that we saw them line up. Dude, the Saints were just so much bigger than the Cowboys' defensive line. That was a big part of it. But we talk about younger coaches. Someone asked me yesterday, who is the head coach of the Saints? And even though the Saints are my favorite team, the fact of the matter is that I really don't care. I know it's Dennis Allen, but I really don't care. Because to me, the most important coach on that team is Clint Kubiak.
Yeah,
and Greeny on ESPN's Get Up this morning was talking about that, going, are we going to be looking at a guy named Clint Kubiak out of New Orleans who is going to be the next hot commodity in the NFL? Just like a Shanahan, because he has the name Kubiak, Gary Kubiak, former Houston Texans head coach, is his dad. Clint Kubiak, 37 years old, doing different things offensively. There's something to be said about what you're talking about offensively with the Cowboys, right? Because Mike McCarthy runs a very vanilla offense. Vanilla, strawberry, chocolate, Neapolitan, while other teams are doing out there Baskin-Robbins offenses where it's 31 different flavors. Defensively, though, would it have been different if Dan Quinn was still there? Because Dan Quinn seemed to have a better grasp of the defense, but also Dan Quinn was still the guy who got beaten up by the Packers' run game in the playoffs.
Exactly. I do like a name that you haven't thought of before.
Yeah.
JHNSB says the Cowboys should hire Pop.
They should.
They're trying to get you going with the rant today, Mike.
Down 4 means something else in the NFL, right?
You look at Hanover Fist. Thanks for joining us, by the way, too. We appreciate you. My Cowboys are front runner team, he says. It don't build a lead early, they struggle. And that's what you were saying. There's no lies in that, man.
There's no lies. We know the deficiency of the Cowboys. And, you talk about the Achilles heel. The Achilles heel, what does that mean? I mean, that's Greek mythology, right?
Yeah.
Getting shot by an arrow in the heel and die. A great warrior was Achilles getting killed by being shot in the arrow, right? Shot in the ankle, the Achilles. The Cowboys have two of them. One on the offense side of the ball, one on the defense side of the ball. What's the defensive Achilles heel? Run defense. They cannot stop the run. And Mozzie Smith, who now is battling injuries right now, Mozzie Smith might be a bust of a first-round draft pick. I know it's only been a couple of years, but he might be a bust when it's all said and done. On the offensive side of the ball, what is it? They have no run game.
I like this.
They have no run game.
Sith, our offense is the missionary position of the team. Antonio Arnales says, bring back Jimmy Johnson. The man still has some fire.
Oh, my God. Jimmy Johnson, I don't even want to look up his age. He's probably in his late 70s, but he looks.
He's younger than Pop.
And acts.
Is he younger than Pop?
He's a young 75 or whatever he is. Cannon with Fist saying the Cowboys can't stop a nosebleed, but Cowboys again this weekend taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens coming into the house 0-2. Ravens favored by a point right now. ESPN says that the Ravens have a 51% chance of winning that game, so it really is a coin flip.
I'm going to bet on the boys.
I don't see it, dude.
I'm going to bet on the boys. I've been telling you all. I'm forecasting it, man. I got to speak it into existence.
Yeah, you want to speak it into existence, but the Ravens are a more desperate team.
I'll be here on Monday wearing my Cowboys blue and my Cowboys hat.
Cowboys are going to lose this game and still be tied for first place when it's all said and done.
I'm going to get this audio bite here and play it for you on Monday when the Cowboys come in and we're celebrating a win.
Yeah, not going to happen.
And then I'm going to put it on social media so they can. I'm going to send it to Jeff, and he's going to put hashtag cook.
Okay, we talk about the Achilles heel of the Cowboys, right? What is the Achilles heel of the Cowboys? They
can't run the ball.
They can't stop the run.
They can't run the ball.
Right, but let's talk about how they can't stop the run.
No, they can't.
Who are the two people who run the ball for the Ravens right now?
Oh, I know, man. Henry. And was the other guy, the other brother, the other backup?
Well, not only Derrick Henry. I mean, it's also their quarterback, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, there you go.
He
can break away.
So if you can't stop the run, and you have one of the best running backs on the other side of the field, and you have the best running quarterback on the other side of the field, how exactly are you suddenly going to stop them? That's what I don't understand.
You know why? It's just like that movie, Any Given Sunday, man.
Oh, no.
It's going to happen,
No,
bro.
you're just throwing out a cliche.
I'm just telling you.
Throwing out a movie cliche.
Hey, man, I'm just telling you, because they had a bad game. I think they're going to be looking for redemption, and they're going to surprise people, and they're going to win against this Ravens team. And the Ravens are going to be the team they're going to be looking at, because they're going to start the season without a win.
Meantime,
they're winless. They're going to go winless against the Cowboys, man.
No, dude, it's just not going to happen,
I'm telling you, man. I know you don't see it, but I do, man.
So I'm trying to find out, who has the best rush defense? Guess who has the best rush defense in the entire NFL? The Ravens. Who has the worst running game in the NFL, or the worst rushing talent in the NFL? When I'm saying Zeke Elliott and maybe Dalvin Cook, right? Cowboys don't have a rushing game. Who, the Rico Dowdle?
Dowdle.
Dude, so the Cowboys are going up against the number one rush defense, and you have a crappy running game. What do you think is going to happen? If you have the worst rush defense and you're going up against one of the best running attacks, what do you think is going to happen? Cowboys are going to get blown out on Sunday. Again, it's going to be back-to-back blowouts, and maybe we're going to have that chatter there that Mike McCarthy might get the axe early.
Hey, who's going to take up after him if Jerry gives him the axe early?
Yeah.
They only have one win, and they're, 3 games into the season? I mean, the season's not a wash, but every loss does hurt tremendously, because especially in the NFC East, what do you have to win to at least make it in to the wild card? You got to win the division for one, right?
They're not going to win. They're not going to get in there as a wild card. You have to win the division.
So I'm saying. I mean, in order to even be considered to be a wild card, right? You got to win your division, right? You have to win their division. And how many wins is that going to take?
10.
and you already if you lose against the Raven, how many losses is that already on you, man?
Yeah, you'd have to go 9-5 the rest of the way. David Outwater is saying Derrick Henry is old and he will stop him. He will stop himself. Derrick Henry last week, 18 carries for 84 yards and a touchdown, average 4.7. That's not bad. They just stopped feeding him for some reason.
Yeah.
And that was a stat that was shown on ESPN graphics earlier this week, was the fact that in the fourth quarter, he only has 3 carries. It's not because he's struggling. It's because they're just not giving him the ball. It's just bad coaching.
I hope that continues, because that means the Cowboys, you're telling me the Cowboys got a chance, because they ain't going to give Henry the ball.
Lamar Jackson, meantime, is just a running fool, dude. I mean, Lamar Jackson.
Oh, man. But the thing is, you can't be running out there like that, man. Eventually, you're going to become a Robert Griffin III, man.
Nah, dude, not this way. Robert Griffin III was a stick figure running the ball.
He was, but I'm saying, like, you take all these hits, and this is a lot of strain on the body,
dude,
bro.
Lamar Jackson last week, 45 yards on 5 carries. The week before that, 122 yards on 16 carries. The guy's on track to have over 1,000 yards rushing. Yeah. So is Derrick Henry. They're gonna have 2,000-yard rushers.
All he needs is a 400-pound linebacker to land wrong on that ankle, and he's gonna pull up lame like that.
It hasn't happened yet.
Not yet, but he's due.
He's won multiple MVPs. It hasn't happened yet. So you have an MVP coming in, Lamar Jackson, against the Cowboys defense, that porous Cowboys defense. Who's a better team, Joe? The Saints or the Baltimore Ravens?
Baltimore Ravens, man.
And the Saints went in there, won
it happens. Teams,
it didn't just
bad
happen.
Teams win sometimes against
better
teams.
Now the Saints this weekend have the Philadelphia Eagles. So we're now
I hope the Eagles blow you all out the water, bro.
Oh, no.
I would be loving that. I'll be like, Mike, come on.
That is not a Cowboy fan thing to say.
I'm going to say, though, I would love it just to put egg on your face. I would hate it because I hate the Eagles and I don't want them to win. I want them to go winless, but I would be laughing. I'd be like, man, how you all losing to the Eagles, man?
At the end of the day, we're 2-1 at that point.
But I'm saying,
right?
how would you lose to the Eagles, bro? That would be humorous to me. But I like hand over fist. He goes, we will be ready to play on Sunday. The damn right we will.
Yeah, they'll be ready to play.
Little pinch of Cowboys, man.
Somehow, as Micah Parsons says, the desire will suddenly be there, and the technique will suddenly get better in 7 days, right? That's what we're saying.
Did you see that too? I heard that, Tony Ornelas. Rumors are CeeDee Lamb not playing due to a small injury. There's rumors that he had injured his ankle, so he's questionable.
Well, if he doesn't play, the game's over, because that's the only offensive weapon that they
Who are you going to throw to? The ref? They got nobody.
There was that touchdown pass by Justin Jefferson over the weekend. You're talking about the ref. Did you see that referee? Did you see that? I'm going to see if we can find that.
That was funny, dude.
Justin Jefferson had a 97-yard touchdown reception.
There he is.
And look at the ref. The ref, stride for stride. You had to get out of the way. Look at this. He beat Jefferson to the end zone. Touchdown.
The ref could have caught that ball. He's gone. I'm gone. Look at that.
One more time. 97-yard touchdown.
Move out the way. Move.
The ref is out there running a 4.340.
Damn, man. You know what I thought's funny sometimes? They're like, we got to take a break, right? They're going to take a commercial break. And it's not the teams that are calling a timeout.
Yeah.
They're calling a timeout because one of the refs got hurt. They got to tape the ankle. They show him on the bench.
That was great. So you wanted to bring up the fact that you think the Eagles suck. So you're telling me that you want the Eagles to beat the Saints because you want me to have egg on my face, right? But as a Cowboy fan, you know deep in your heart you want the Saints to go 3-0.
Oh, I do.
You want the Eagles to be 1-2, keep pace so that they don't run away with the division.
I hate the Eagles. I hate everything about the Eagles, man.
Eagles going in there. You think the Cowboys run defense is bad. The Eagles rush defense is even worse. So Saints go in there. Alvin Kamara, you're going to have Taysom Hill more than likely will play. He got injured, knocked out of the game against the Cowboys. He'll more than likely be back. Jamal Williams is getting some run. Eagles defense is bad, man. It is Swiss cheese.
No bueno.
So that being said, and then suddenly the offensive line for the Saints is looking strong. Derek Carr is healthy for once. Rashid Shaheed. Finally, people are going, who is this guy? Because I'm a Saints fan, and I know Chris Leha is a Saints fan. We watched the Saints play. We know who Shaheed is. We saw him bust out the second half of the season last year, and we knew that he was going to blow up this year. He was primed for this start, right?
Yeah.
On track for 1,400 yards receiving right now. The guy is like a mini Tyreek Hill. things are looking good over there. It's just 2 games, but things are looking better. But you were under the impression that because, the Cowboys have lost back-to-back home games, playoff game against the Packers, home game against the Saints. But you take a look at the fact that the Eagles have lost 9 out of 11. And they lost again. They blew that game against the Falcons on Monday Night Football. Maybe, just maybe, Jalen Hurts does suck. We had this conversation last year about who's better, Dak or Jalen Hurts. And I said, well, Dak is having the MVP type season, but I think Jalen Hurts is the better player. Not anymore. Jalen Hurts is not that guy anymore.
You think he's washed now? Like Deshaun Watson's washed, dude.
Dude, is he going the way of Deshaun Watson?
I mean, Deshaun
Watson.
The sad thing is, Deshaun's not an old player, dude. He just looks washed. He looks bad out there, man. How long do you think it's going to take for them to finally bench him?
Well, let's see. They signed him for what, 6 years?
I mean,
is that what it was?
Yeah, you got to call it at some point, man.
I mean, time of death is
next game.
It's brutal, man.
His throws just look awful. He just looks horrible out there, man.
The decision making looks bad. He's not a fit for that offense either. He suddenly doesn't know how to run the ball anymore. He used to run pretty well.
He used to, not anymore. And then he caught diddling again.
Yeah,
and
he's getting in trouble again. And this might have been an old way of doing things, or an old school allegation. But he knew it was there.
Yeah,
and there's some. You talk about desire, right? Micah Parsons used that word, and we mentioned that earlier. Look at Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray suddenly cares again. He comes out of college, looks good, and then suddenly starts eating his way out of the league. He suddenly starts playing too many video games, where they were saying that he wasn't actually studying the playbook. He was playing video games. He was into Halo and things like that. Now, you give him Marvin Harrison Jr., he seems to give a damn again. There is something to be said about desire. Micah Parsons is right. There's something to be said about desire. But is that a player issue? Is that a coach issue? Maybe it's somewhere in between. Maybe
it's a culture issue. Because what happens with the Cowboys? Mm-hmm. They come over here and it's a damn circus.
Right.
The Cowboys culture is just circus mentality. Going crazy, all the flash, going out there, getting seen, all that kind of stuff. But then you go and, like I said, we compare the Houston Texans team. And when you go there, it's just a different culture, man. It's just all about football. They live, eat, and breathe football. They don't care about none of that other stuff. But when you come over here with the Cowboys, you have this mantra of it's prime time. You're at the big show, America's team. You're getting all the media coverage and all that kind of stuff. And it changes people. You start thinking a different way. It's not so much the game of football itself. It's everything that surrounds it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that needs to change. And the only way that's going to change is, one, Jerry Jones has to get dyed. The second thing is
kind of sad.
You got to get a new head coach in here to just clean house and change the mentality and just say, you know what, this is the way the team's going to be run.
Well, think about the Texas Longhorns. The Texas Longhorns were supposed to be, perennially a top 5, top 10 program. There's no reason why they shouldn't have been, but they struggled for a while there, and it was all about culture. And culture starts from the top, dude. It starts from the top, and it makes its way all the way back down. The culture issues you talk about, that is Jerry and Stephen Jones. And then it gravitates into Mike McCarthy, and then it goes further and further and further down. Now, you mentioned the Houston Texans, though. I'm going to show you some video real fast.
Yeah, let's
courtesy of NFL Films. CJ Stroud was mic'd up on NFL Films, and he goes and he talks to Caleb Williams after the Texans barely beat the Bears over the weekend, and he's telling them, "Hey, you're going to be a hell of a player in this league. Quit taking those hits." I think Caleb Williams was sacked like 7 times, saying, "Quit taking those hits." And it didn't seem like Caleb Williams wanted to hear it. And today, CJ Stroud is coming out saying, "Look, I wasn't trying to make him my little brother him," because some people are coming out and asking the question, who does CJ Stroud think he is at this point in his career to be offering this type of advice after the game? You sometimes hear this talk from who? Tom Brady, right?
Veterans.
The veterans. Aaron Rodgers goes up to somebody and says something. CJ Stroud, offensive rookie of the year. I get it. He's only a second-year player. Are you okay with him giving advice to quarterbacks?
Yeah, let's put that video on pause, man. Not opposed to it, but I mean, what advice can you really give in your year 2? You know, what can you really tell somebody? Yeah, I mean, this is what's worked for me, but what's worked for you on this team, maybe it doesn't work for him because they're running a different scheme. He's a different type of player. You can give advice and he can listen. But he did listen. Didn't seem like he cared too much.
Well, I mean, Caleb Williams pulled away. Maybe Caleb Williams wasn't expecting this.
Yeah.
And it's not like Caleb Williams is saying anything bad about CJ Stroud, but it's just the question is this a bad form to do? Because CJ Stroud, if you take a look at the way that he's acting right there,
yeah,
I don't want to say that he's acting with arrogance, but he's acting with a confidence there, the swagger of a veteran, which, don't get me wrong, is great when you're on the field, but this is off the field. The game's over.
Yeah.
Should you have that swagger off the field, or should you still be a little bit more humble your second year into the league?
Yeah.
Imagine Brock Purdy doing that to somebody. Imagine Brock Purdy going up to Caleb Williams and going, "Hey, man, don't take those hits, dude." You know, Brock Purdy's only been in the league for a couple of years. Imagine, I don't know, just a young quarterback going out there, and I understand that CJ Stroud might have a good heart, and he's probably saying the right thing.
Yeah.
That's a phone call, dude.
Text message or something private, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of embarrassing to be caught doing that in public. You know what I mean? In front of the cameras and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I think there's a time and a place for it, but right then and there, wasn't it?
I don't want CJ Stroud to be full of himself. I still want him to be humble. I want him to be humble.
Tim Gonzalez is joining us. What's up, Tim? Thanks for joining, man.
Man, we got some hatred from Tony right now for my Saints, saying that he's hoping for Alvin Kamara to get hurt, and he's hoping that DeJounte Murray gets arrested. The Pelicans don't make the playoffs. I don't care about the Pelicans, and I don't care about DeJounte Murray. So I don't know what to say. I'm a Saints fan. I'm not a fan of all New Orleans sports teams. I don't care about Tulane either.
Tulane, oh God! Did you hear about this, man? Did you see this? We got a doubleheader coming up here, man, on a Monday Night Football. You see that? I couldn't believe that, man.
Already?
Yeah, on Monday, man. You're going to have the Jaguars against the Bills, the Commanders against the Bengals, man. I was like, first Monday night doubleheader of the year?
Not bad. I mean, well, first of all, these games are kind of weak. I mean, who wants to watch the Commanders against the Bengals? But I guess the Bengals have to win that game. Joe Burrow.
You would think
pissed after the last
you
game.
would think they would be able to win this game, but the Commanders, they might be a sneaky good team.
Micah Parsons threw his team under the bus, right? Threw his team under the bus. Joe Burrow wanted to. Joe Burrow at the end of the game was like, it was on the tip of his tongue. He wanted to throw his team under the bus.
He was pissed.
And he held it in.
Hey, man, I was going to go ahead and poke the bear right here, man. Look at FC Dallas, football club there.
Yeah.
They announced a $182 million renovation for Toyota Stadium.
Wow.
To include shade overall seats, new luxury seats, fan social areas, more concessions, areas, restrooms, redesigned press box with better sightlines.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we got Toyota Field here with SAFC, and they're like, we're going to leave it unfinished.
Dude, it's a different vibe, dude. I've been spending a lot of time in Dallas and Houston lately, Austin.
Where there's more money?
I spend the weekends where there's more money because I go get clients, right? And I had a meeting in the Woodlands the other day. It's a different vibe, dude. And it's funny because I think a lot of San Antonio residents don't realize that because a lot of us don't travel out and about. Dude, this year I've been to Charlotte for work.
Yeah.
I've been to Houston for work. I've been to Dallas for work. I go to Tampa. I am fortunate that I have a good business and good business partners that make me travel from place to place, right? Every single place I go, even the small cities like Greensboro, North Carolina, are more advanced than San Antonio. And it's just so weird, man. San Antonio, people make fun of me or bash me for saying that San Antonio is a poor city. Dude, we are a poor city. I spent a weekend in Houston, and I'm like, oh my God, they got like so much stuff to do here. Is at the Woodlands Pavilion and all that stuff. And then I go to Austin, and I'm like Barton Creek. You go to the east side over there. You go to
hang out by the river.
You go downtown. There's stuff to do. There's concerts to be had. San Antonio is just a little poor town, man. We got a poor town of 2 million people. It is what it is. And we got Mike, we got the Spurs, and thank God we got
Mike. You were saying something yesterday, and I was laughing because I was watching our show from the other day. And you're like, if you want to make money, you got to leave San Antonio. Everybody that I know is successful and they've made money and they've left. And I'm like, and you're still here. At some point, you know, the city won't let you go, man. That's the important thing is, you know, if you want to go ahead and you think that you might have a life outside of San Antonio and you were young,
well, like my daughter,
just leave, man.
My daughter, Gabby.
Just go out and see what else is out there, man.
My daughter, Gabby, I told her this is a town to raise a family.
Yeah.
This isn't a town to make a career, right? That's just basically it. Unless you are in, you know, you have a job with the Homeland Security, right? So Homeland Security, that's a federal job. That's a very, very good job to have.
Look at JHNSB. We are the most affordable for a reason, though.
Well,
keep it that way.
Well, I mean, you know, what's also affordable is Goodwill, right?
Jeez,
I mean,
Mike.
you don't go to Goodwill for good things, right? Then there's JCPenney, there's Kohl's, and then you build your way up to Nordstrom's, and you build your way up to Macy's, and you build your way up, right? That's how all that works. San Antonio is like the Kohl's of cities.
Look at David Outwater. I live in Dallas. I've lived in Dallas Fort Worth, and yes, SA is poor.
Yeah, and why is it affordable? Because there's nothing to do here. There's nothing to do here.
I like this one, Hanover Fist. SAFC can't fix a big screen. There you have it, man.
Yeah, where Thomas Park can't fix a big screen either.
SAFC, man, that field has been in need of some upgrades, man. Even like the press area,
right.
It's horrible, man.
Now, this is why I would get excited about that $1.3 billion that the Spurs want for their facility downtown.
It's probably going to go higher than that.
That would transform the city, but is San Antonio ready for that? I had a conversation with my former father-in-law a while back, and we were talking about the Spurs and the Spurs arena, and he was like, well, just keep it over there on the east side. And I said, no. And I said, well, why would anybody want to move it downtown? There's a lot of traffic. And I said, because people want to go places where they can make it an evening. You can go have lunch, you go have dinner, you can go watch the game, go to a bar afterwards. And my former father-in-law was like, well, why would I want any of that? He likes going to the east side where there's nothing there. He likes going to the Spurs game and having it done. He goes, if I want a beer afterwards, I'll go to Rock and Brews. And I'm like, well, that's not how every other city does it. You go to the Toyota Center in Houston where the Rockets play. It is segregated from the rest, but you're still only about a mile away from actually all the bars and hotels and restaurants.
Look at Bear County Social Apparel. Did Mike just compare San Antonio to Goodwill? Did I hear that right?
No, Laredo is
You
Goodwill.
said it was Goodwill.
I said San Antonio is the Kohl's.
No, I thought you said it was Goodwill.
No, I said San Antonio is the Kohl's of cities. Goodwill is Laredo and Del Rio.
Oh my God!
Go back.
Dude.
I said, I go back. Rewind the tape. I said San Antonio is the Kohl's of cities. I didn't say Goodwill. Okay, I mentioned Goodwill because there are cities that are poor, and that would be Laredo, that would be Edinburgh, that would be Del Rio. We're a step above that. We're in the JCPenney Kohl's area, and then Houston and Dallas are the Nordstroms of cities. That's just what it is. So again, we're not Goodwill, we're Kohl's.
Yeah,
we're Kohl's Cash of cities.
Kohl's Cash,
and that's what we hope to pay. To get the stadium there, right?
Yeah, you know what's going to happen to get that stadium? They're going to tax the city officials. They're going to tax the hell out of us, the taxpayers, for the next 30 years to pay for that stadium.
It's the hotel motel tax.
They're gonna raise it. They're gonna increase it, and you know what? We're gonna wind up fitting the bill. Some way, somehow.
Well, we didn't fit the bill for the Alamo Dome. We didn't fit
you
the bill.
did some way, somehow. You did.
If I stayed at a hotel and I did a staycation, then I paid my part.
But it has more to do with this, just the hotel motel tax. They're going to get you in other areas, man.
They tax the tourists. That's how they do it.
And you know what? They're going to find other ways to go ahead and increase revenue. What's happening with property taxes right now here in San Antonio? They're going up, and they go up all the time. You know, you look at your house value, and you're like, how is that big of an increase happen in 1 year? You know, I'm just like, they say things, man, but they find other ways to nickel and dime you.
David Outwater comes out and says, Mike is right. Tony Ornella says Kohl's is overrated and expensive. Overrated, yes. Expensive? I don't know if it's expensive. So again, did I say San Antonio was the Goodwill of cities? No. I said we were the Kohl's of cities. Laredo is the Goodwill of cities.
Yeah. Mike is right. If you keep promoting San Antonio as a poor city, no one is wanting to come here, and Spurs will move to Austin. The Spurs ain't moving to Austin, man. That's the thing. They like Austin because it's a bigger, and not a bigger market, but it's a big market, bigger than San Antonio as far as media coverage.
It's almost the same as San Antonio. San Antonio is a higher media market, but they're very similar. They're like 6 or 7 spots
What
away.
did you say? At some point, it's going to be like the Dallas Metroplex.
We have to.
San Antonio and Austin will start to merge. You know, I wanted to give some love here real quick, though, to a friend of the show, man. Our friend here, Sam Frias, biggest Puma, man. He started his podcast again, you know.
Nice.
And he's been releasing episodes. So go ahead and check him out, you know, and give him some love, you know, give him some support.
By the way, the city of San Antonio is the number 31 media market in the country. Number 31. Austin, which when I was in the media back in the day, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, Austin was in the 60s. Right now, Austin is number 35. You combine 31 and 35, we become a top 15 market, rivaling Detroit, Seattle, and Orlando. That's why they're doing it. Let's give some love to our good friends over at MCS General Contracting. You're wearing the gear right there.
Yeah, I am. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business. Honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show. Locked on Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked on Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow, not only on threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked on Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked on Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, and share to the Locked on Spurs podcast. And if you want to go ahead and buy our lovely merch here that we go ahead and, you know, we made, and some of the people here support, you know, by wearing the merch, like Mario Cavazos, seeing him walking around all over town and coming to our little watch parties here wearing the Alamo City Sportscast gear. Go ahead and click on the QR code here and go to our merch store that's online. And you can go ahead and buy our wares and support the show. I'll go ahead and also put the link here in the chat so you boys can go ahead and check us out. If you want to buy a shirt, we got a whole bunch of different designs out there, and we appreciate the support.
So Bear County Social Apparel is saying that the distance between San Antonio and Austin doesn't make it feasible because there's 70 miles between the cities. There's not 70 miles between the cities. It's 70 miles between downtown San Antonio and downtown Austin. If you go, Austin has grown south, right? So you go all the way down to Kyle and Buda, and then you go, San Antonio already touches New Braunfels. Back in the day, back in the 90s when I was in high school, I remember the city ended around Hebner Road, right? And I remember I started dating a girl that lived off of Bandera and Braun. She lived out in the boonies, man, middle of nowhere. But the city has grown out. And back in the day, 1604 was not a thing, right? But you see San Antonio now touches Schertz and Cibolo and Universal City. And then that touches New Braunfels and all the way through. The patch of land between the areas there is exit 189 where Buc-ee's is, all the way to exit 200, which is where the outlets are. That's 11-mile separation between San Antonio and Austin, because you know what? San Marcos is Austin. New Braunfels is San Antonio now. You can combine the two. If you're to go downtown Fort Worth to downtown Dallas, it's about the same distance as downtown Austin to downtown San Antonio. Those media markets are going to converge at some point. It's going to happen.
Yeah, and we were just giving some love to our boy, man, over here, Jeff Garcia of Ken's 5. You know, he's also the host of the Locked on Spurs podcast. And one of the things that he was sharing today, right out the gate here, is letting people know, the fans know, Spurs release the Chris Paul, Keldon Johnson's jerseys reflecting their new number, with the Chris Paul wearing the number 3 and Keldon Johnson wearing the number 0. Go ahead and go to his X. You can follow him at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Check out this latest story that he just put up about an hour ago.
And if you want to show my screen, about an hour ago, he posted his most recent Locked On Spurs podcast, which talks about Greg Popovich and how CBS Sports says that Pop is no longer a top 10 coach in the NBA. In fact, they considered him to be number 14 heading into the season, and they're saying that politely. Like, they didn't want to put him at 20 or 30. They're saying he's kind of 14 right now. I remember the Ringer, Bill Simmons and Ryan Russillo and all those guys called Pop one of the 10 worst last year. And that's when they had that Sohan experiment at point guard. So, again, this is going to be fan reaction to it all, whether Pop is still a top 10 coach now. Now, he's an all-time great, all-time Mount Rushmore, top 4 of all time. But we're talking about the year 2024, 25, much like Salma Hayek, right? Salma Hayek in the 1990s was the GOAT. She's not the GOAT anymore.
Oh, come on,
She's
dude.
still good. Still good.
She's top tier. Didn't she win our baddie bracket?
Yeah, it's because everyone was thinking that from
man.
we were talking from dusk till dawn. Salma Hayek, man, 58-year-old. Salma Hayek is not the hottest celebrity.
She'd be the hottest girl at the bar if she pulled up.
She would be. So would Sofia Vergara. So would Casey Musgraves.
Man, I'm just saying, she's still good.
So would Jessica Alba.
If she's still hot at 58, she can be hot forever, bro.
Midtown coming out saying that he will be buying the CP3 jersey. I don't know, man. Would you buy the jersey for somebody who is
a 1-year rental?
A 1-year rental?
Nah, I'm all right.
I mean, if your name was Paul, then maybe, right? Just so that you have that on there, it's like a legit jersey.
Yeah.
Maybe Pablo.
No, man. Look at our friend here of the show, Bear County Social Apparel.
Oh, that is nice.
Doesn't that look nice?
The serape on the side.
Yeah, man. I could dig this, dude. San Antonio Spurs. What do they give us? That nasty, ugly Bill Miller jersey. I'm like, come on, man. You can't give us something better than that.
Quit letting the interns run the asylum. That's the problem.
That's just lazy, dude. That was just lazy. And it's a harken back to the 1960s era. Nobody gives a damn anymore, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Move forward, man. Give the people what they want. This is what really irritates me about the San Antonio Spurs, man. Spurs sports and entertainment. They always think, again, they think they know better than you, even though the Spurs fans tell them what they want, and they're not always right. But if the fans are asking for something, give it to them, man.
Mm-hmm. Thursday night football's tonight. We got the Patriots taking on the Jets. Is this going to be the first Thursday night game that you don't watch?
I'll put it on because I'm going to be working at the same time. And usually around that time, work slows down, a lot. So I'll probably be watching it. But I'm not going to be in, it's not going to garner 100% of my attention.
Jets favored by 6 tonight. I mean, a battle of Jacoby Brissett against a very, very, very old Aaron Rodgers doesn't really do it for me. I'm going to do it because it's football and it's better than watching, reruns of Schitt's Creek. But it just doesn't do anything for me. The Jets come in after beating the Tennessee Titans 24-17. Aaron Rodgers is just a shell of himself. He's not as good as he used to be. But Aaron Rodgers can't run, dude. He can't do anything.
He's old.
Last week, 18 for 30, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns. He just had a pedestrian game. Didn't give up any interceptions. They won because Will Levis coughed the game up at the end with that brutal fumble. Ridiculous. But it's a ho-hum type of thing. The over-under tonight's game is 38. So
Ouch.
Vegas is expecting this to be a super low-scoring game.
Be a stinker, man. One thing that we got to show, since we're talking about, Aaron Rodgers and how old he's gotten, we got to kind of talk about the nominees for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I like
and
it.
how stacked it is. Talk about old guys, but these old guys, what a class, man. You have quarterback Eli Manning, who's a nominee. Running back Marshawn Lynch. Running back Darren Sproles. Demarius Thompson. Vernon Davis, Delanie Walker, Travis Frederick, Ryan Khalil, Joe Staley, Marshall Yanda, Luke Kilucci, Terrell Suggs, Antony Bethia. I don't even know how to say his defensive back. Aqib Talib. You have Earl Jones and Adam Vinatieri as a kicker.
Okay,
man.
keep that up here. Okay, here are the ones that will make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
No doubt, right? Eli Manning is going to be a Hall of Famer.
100%, right?
Now, the weird thing about it is, I remember when Eli Manning won his last game, they were like, that's going to get him into the Hall of Fame. Do you know what Eli Manning's regular season record was as a quarterback? 118 and 118.
He's 50.
He's a 500 quarterback, but has 2 championships, 2 Super Bowl rings. And not only did he win 2 Super Bowls, because Jim Plunkett won multiple rings, and it took him forever to get into the Hall. It was the historic teams that he beat along the way and the way that they won, because they beat Tom Brady twice. And not only that, they beat Brady when Brady was trying to be the second coming of the Miami Dolphins to go undefeated. They had a 16-0 team.
Yep.
Going in there, I believe they were 18-0 at the time.
I believe that's the team that had Junior Seau on their roster. Yeah.
This was a team that was poised to be the greatest team of all time. And then you see the Giants take them down. Quick story. I was in New York City with my first ex-wife. Okay. She had friends who lived in New York City. And this was February, and she wanted to go visit them. And I was like, okay, we're going to go visit during Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah, they're going to show the game, so go ahead and go. We go to this one apartment. It's in Brooklyn. And it's a nice place, and we're watching the game, but the people there were from Boston. Okay? I'm cheering for the Giants because at the time I was a Tom Brady hater. And the David Tyree catch and the Mario Manningham catch, the Tyree catch, the helmet catch, where he comes down and he's being bent backwards, and he caught it on his helmet, and the ball never touched the ground. Arguably the greatest catch of all time. On top of that, that was the last catch he ever had as an NFL player. He was never an NFL player after that. He had that catch, and then you go on and the Mario Manningham catch, Eli Manning. By the way, on the David Tyree catch, the way that he was able to scramble out of that, he was being grabbed by multiple players. He scrambled out, rolled out, just chunked it downfield. And Tyree came down with it. There was multiple defenders on him. The most amazing catch I've ever seen in my life. Eli Manning's going to be a Hall of Famer.
No doubt.
Because you cannot tell the story of the NFL without Eli Manning being the foil to Tom Brady. It wasn't Peyton Manning that was the foil to him. Because don't be wrong, Peyton, it was like, well, who's going to be who's going to win the AFC, right? The Colts or the Patriots. But when they got to the Super Bowl, where it's 100 million people watching, Eli Manning showed up.
He did, man. The biggest moments.
It's ridiculous. And the teams that they beat and the way that they beat them, historically beat them, it's amazing. Eli Manning is for sure. Now the question becomes, what if he was 117 and 119? Could you have gotten him into the Hall of Fame? When he won the last game or 2 of the last 3 to end his career, and it got him to 500, it locked him in. Because without that, it would have been like putting Joe Namath back up there. Because Joe Namath was trash up until Super Bowl 3. And that was that. The name's Terrell Suggs, dude. Terrell Suggs is going to be in there. 7-time Pro Bowler. Luke Kuechly is going to be a Hall of Famer. Well, the problem with Luke Kuechly, by the way, is that he didn't he retire early?
I believe he did, man.
Didn't he retire early because he was a oftentimes injured player for the Carolina Panthers? 5-time first-team All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler. He retired really young. He retired in 2021. Born in 1991, he retired at age 30. He is a Hall of Fame talent, but I don't know.
And look at this Turner analysis. Never understood Eli Manning's draft day. It was controversial, right? Eli got drafted by the Chargers, right? Wasn't it the Chargers?
Right. He basically outright said, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah. His daddy had to call and say, no, he ain't coming over there. Y'all got to trade him to the Giants.
And that's what Kobe Bryant did too.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant was drafted number 13, but he was like, I ain't going to Charlotte. Earl Thomas from Orange, Texas. Super Bowl champion, 3-time all-pro first team, 7-time Pro Bowler. You have a lot of players here that are kind of like on the cusp, right? The late Demaryius Thomas. I remember that play that Demaryius Thomas had where he caught the game-winning touchdown against the Steelers. It was the only playoff victory of Tim Tebow with the with the Broncos. Remember, they went into overtime, and it was the first play from scrimmage, 80 yards for the touchdown. It was a slant pattern.
Poor Tim Tebow, man. He had that little blaze, a little flash of glory, and he was done.
Now you have Adam Vinatieri. How many field goal kickers in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know. You just got one nominee right now in this class.
There are 2, Morton Anderson and Jan Stenerud.
But Vinatieri's up there, man.
But Vinatieri has to be out there.
He's going to be the other one that's going to be nominated in, dude. He's deserving of that.
Well, Jason Elam is also on there, along with Steven Gostkowski. But Vinatieri has to be in there.
No doubt he
does. How many rings does Brady have if it wasn't for Vinatieri? Vinatieri, first of all, the Tuck Rule game, Vinatieri getting that long-ass field goal in the snow. Okay, getting him there, winning the Super Bowl. There was a walk-off kick to win a Super Bowl. Vinatieri is the reason for at least 3 rings that Brady has. At least 3.
Yeah.
Brady has 7 rings. Vinatieri is responsible for 3. The Atlanta Falcons are responsible for 1 for dropping pants. The Seahawks are responsible for 1 for not just handing the ball off to Marshawn Lynch, who's also on there. I don't think Marshawn Lynch is a Hall of Famer, though.
You know what? It's what could have been. You're at 4th and goal.
I don't even think it was 4th and goal.
Was it 3rd and goal?
Yeah, you had many chances at that.
But you know what? It turned into an interception for the Seahawks, and that's about all she wrote.
That was it.
I mean, you couldn't hand the ball off to the guy that could have got it done. We always talk about Zeke, right? And he was good. Yeah, you put him out there, the red zone. He's going to get it, right? Money. You don't think Marshawn Lynch would have pushed the pile to get those few inches to get
He was doing it all season long.
Why would you throw the damn ball?
He was doing it all season long.
You talk about one of the most boneheaded plays in the Super Bowl. That has to be at the top of the list.
It is. It was a boneheaded call.
Stupid
is what it was.
And you know what? I bet you if Russ had to do it all over again, he would hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch.
Oh, most definitely. But again, Eli Manning, the question becomes, is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? He's a first-time nominee. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? I like a lot of these names. Darren Sproles was a lot of fun to watch. Vernon Davis was a lot of fun to watch. Luke Kuechly, very fun to watch. But a lot of these are in the Hall of Very Good.
Marshawn Lynch, I think he's deserving to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I mean, he made an All-Pro team back in 2012. He was second-team All-Pro in 2014. Made 5 Pro Bowl teams, All-Decade team in the 2010s. He has a chance. I'm not saying that he doesn't have. He has over 10,000 yards rushing. He has a chance. It's just, it's not like a shoe-in, type of thing.
But I think he's deserving nonetheless. I hope he gets in, man.
Yeah, let's show some love to me, my man. Get my number out there. Let's talk about this. So after the show, I'm going to go off and I'm going to do some math for a client. I have a client who's retiring out in the Corpus Christi area, getting his stuff all organized there. My number is 210-508-0369. Again, 210-508-0369 if you need help with retirement strategies. If you have an old 401, old IRA, need to do something with it, give me a call. Life insurance, disability, long-term care, full-scale financial strategies, give me a call, 210-508-0369. Been in business since 2005, and when you give me a call, that's my personal cell. Shoot me a text, give me a call. We'll set something up. The Hall of Fame, dude. Eli Manning. Cowboy fans are going to get pissed. You know what's going to happen, right? He's going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. Cowboy fans are going to get pissed. But it reminds me of Troy Aikman, though. Troy Aikman was not a very good regular season quarterback. If you look at his regular season stats, Troy Aikman was kind of just mediocre. Yeah, that's wrong. One step above that. He was all right.
But you know what? The brother could win when it mattered the most.
Yeah, Troy Aikman had like 3 or 4 seasons where he threw more interceptions than touchdowns.
Yeah, but he was money in the playoffs.
He was, and he could manage egos. Jason Garcia saying he's blaming head coach Pete Carroll for that loss. Seahawks against the Patriots back in the day. Woke up this morning, weighed myself, Joe.
Lost some weight.
I'm back down. So it's a yo-yo, right? You break through a plateau, you kind of come back up a little bit. You break through a plateau, you come back up. I'm back down to where I was, dude. Back down to where I was. I'm basically the lowest I've been in about 2 years, man.
Yeah, and I was going to share this with you too. Top jersey sales in the NFL, man. You see that?
I did see
Number 1, CJ Stroud. Number 2, of course, Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, Aiden Hutchinson. That's kind of a surprise to me there. And number 4, Amon-Ra.
St. Brown.
And then you have Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs. You have Micah Parsons, Brock Purdy, and Harrison Butker.
The Harrison Butker one is for political reasons.
Still sells, man.
I mean, that he's a bunch of conservatives are wearing his jersey for a reason. It's red. So you have, Republicans wanting to wear red versus blue. And it's also because, he basically, I don't want to say that he was sexist, but he was sexist.
Yeah. But those are your top jersey sales. Mm-hmm. I'm glad at least we got a Cowboy there in the top 10. We got Parson at number 9.
What do you think the top Spurs jersey is going to be this year that's not Wemby? Is it
Castle?
Castle? You think Castle will sell more jerseys than Paul?
Castle. Come on, man. Why would you want a Paul jersey just for a 1-year rental? You're going to go and spend $200, $200+ on a Paul jersey. Get out of here, man. I wouldn't do that. I'd probably get one from the flea market or something, but I ain't going to go and get a legit Chris Paul jersey for what? Brother's going to be injured 30 games into the season. He'll be sitting down on the bench, come up lame again near the end of the season, be sitting on the bench again.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is I think Stephon Castle might get some run due to the injury of one Chris Paul. I'm not saying that he's going to be inserted into the starting lineup, but they're going to have to go ahead and go with what they had last year.
Yeah.
And Trey Jones put him back in the starting lineup. And that means that Stephon Castle will get more minutes. So I think Castle is going to be in at least the top 3. I think you're going to have Wemby. You're going to have Vassell. You're going to have Castle. Probably Kelvin Johnson up in the mix. And Sohan, your usual.
I bet you Harrison Barnes becomes a fan favorite.
I believe he will, dude. They're going to respect that he's able to shoot the ball consistently. He has a good jumper. And they're going to like his style of play.
Midtown is talking about the fact that the jersey would be a keepsake if you have a CP3 jersey, kind of like Paul Gasol. I'm not saying that Harrison Barnes is as great as Paul Gasol ever was or will make the Hall of Fame like Paul Gasol will. But I think that Harrison Barnes has a Paul Gasol type of quality to him, that veteran guy who's going to come in there for the last 3, 4, 5 years of his career and just get the job done. Just play good ball. I don't think people realize how good Harrison Barnes is. He's very under the radar. He's very unsexy. He's an unsexy player. Does a good job. Hey, going from unsexy to unpretty. Did you know that was the number 1 song in the country 25 years ago, Joe?
Are you serious? Man?
Unpretty by TLC was the number 1 song today 25 years ago. It was actually a transition because this week there were 2 songs that were number 1 in the United States. One was Bailamos by Enrique Iglesias. TLC's Unpretty was at the end of the week. Choose your fighter. Which song do you like better, Unpretty or Bailamos?
Unpretty, dude. I never cared for Bailamos.
Let the rhythm take you over.
Didn't like
Bailamos.
It, man. Didn't care for that, man.
Okay, I like both songs, to be honest with you. Man. I like both songs. Enrique Iglesias is a interesting character.
He's all right.
Who's Enrique Iglesias' girl?
That tennis player?
Anna Kournikova, dude.
Yeah.
Think about that. They have been dating. They have kids together. How did Anna Kournikova go from being the hottest celebrity around to being his girl? Started dating her in 2001. It's been 23 years. They have a son and daughter together. Let's give some love to Anna Kournikova.
Oh, man, from back in the day.
Was she the hottest? Like, if you were doing the baddie brackets of 2001, Anna Kournikova was a 1 seed, wasn't she?
Yeah. You know who else you would put in there because you had a crush on her? Fiona Apple.
No, Fiona Apple was a stick figure.
Nah, you liked her.
Fiona Apple had a really pretty face, you know. And don't be wrong, you know, it's a little cochino when she says, "I've been a bad girl." Well, let's show some photos real fast of Anna Kournikova. Anna Kournikova on my screen here would have been a 1 seed in the baddie brackets back in 2001, and probably would have faced off against Salma Hayek for number 1. Right? That would have been the championship round. She was like Sydney Sweeney. Just look how young they were back when they got together.
Yeah.
Anna Kournikova was somebody who people thought was a flop in the tennis world because she never won a Grand Slam. She never won a Grand Slam as a singles player, but she's actually known as one of the best doubles players, you know, the last 25 years, but no one cares because it's doubles, right? Anna Kournikova did make some quarterfinals and semifinals along the way. Years later, Maria Sharapova was the one who was known more for her looks, but Anna Kournikova, my goodness. Back in the day, even today, by the way, if you see interviews with her now, one word describes her, Joe.
There you go.
Nugget.
Look at somebody else agrees with you here in the chat.
Oh, Hannah was a nugget.
Look at Bear County's. It's Enrique Iglesias. He's not too ethnic for you. No,
it's poppy enough.
Oh man,
you know, there's no boom 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 boom. That's right.
It ain't the Market Square vibe that you jamming out to, man.
No,
you going the other way?
Not at all. But we're talking about Anna Kournikova. She made the semifinals of Wimbledon in 1997. Made the 4th round of the French and U.S. Open. Quarterfinals of the Australian Open. So she wasn't a scrub. The highest she ever got ranked was number 8, but people didn't care about her rankings. They cared about her looks. The problem was that when she first came out, she was underage. You know, because she was
really young.
Born in 1981. So back when she was kind of on top of the world, born in 81, and she was making the semifinals in 97 and 96. She was 15, 16 years old, man. She was a phenom.
Yeah.
She did win a Grand Slam, the Australian Open's doubles. So she has 2 Grand Slam titles when it comes to it.
You know what we're gonna do too, man? We got to go ahead and pour some out for Spurs legend, dude. Boban.
Oh yeah,
Boban.
He's making a move.
He's not going to be playing in the NBA anymore,
Going
man.
to Europe.
Yeah. So his last appearance in the NBA was him
when he missed the free throws on purpose.
When they were playing the Clippers, he's telling the people, "I got you. I got you.
I got you." Yeah,
because if you miss 2 free throws, everybody gets free Chick-fil-A or something.
Yeah, it was a Chick-fil-A type of thing going on. You had to win by a certain amount.
He's saying, "I got you.
I got you. I used to play for you guys. I know this promotion. This game's out of hand.
Yeah,
I got you. Everybody. This was great.
This is his last act as an NBA player. Bricking 2 free throws, man. So everybody gets free food. The great Boban Marjanovic.
Can I ask you a question about P. Diddy?
Yeah.
Did he kill them? No, I have not seen I have not seen anybody mention this online. So this is a Michael Jimenez original thought here.
Yeah.
Does P. Diddy make the movie Draft Day unwatchable?
Knowing that how cochino he is now, I don't know, man.
Because if you remember, I'm showing on my screen right here, photos from the movie. P. Diddy was in the movie Draft Day, the movie that is shown every draft day for the NFL draft, right? You know, NFL Films, the NFL Network will play it. ESPN, Turner Classics will play it. I mean, it's an all right movie. You know, you have Terry Crews, you got P. Diddy. Obviously, it stars Jennifer Garner and, of course, the legendary Kevin Costner. But P. Diddy plays Bo Callahan's agent leading up to the draft. And he goes, "This is the NFL draft, baby. You got to be prepared." That's the classic line from P. Diddy.
I don't know if I can watch him the same anymore.
Okay,
man.
hey, do you think networks will play this movie anymore? And B, if they do, would you want to watch it knowing that he's in there?
Nah, I don't think so, dude. You know what the thing is that we haven't even thought of, Mike? You know how they have let's say they cancel things now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they cancel people and, you know, all that for their nefarious acts and whatnot. R. Kelly was canceled infamously, you know, not too long ago. Took his catalog of music off all the streaming platforms. They're erasing him. They pulled a Moses on him, right? Yeah. Never existed. Think the same thing's going to happen with Diddy, dude.
I think so too.
They're going to take all his likenesses from any music that he's made. They're going to erase it from history, take it off the streaming platforms, and the duos that he did with other artists.
Well,
what's going to happen with those?
Here's the problem that I have with all this. I agree that is true because we live in a world today where people know what the hell happened.
The cancel culture, man.
We live in a cancel culture world. Yeah. But Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley, these are other people that would have been canceled back in the day. Jerry Seinfeld would have been canceled back in the day. So it's one of those things where they're being canceled because that's what we know, and that's what we know historically because we're a prisoner of the moment of what's going on right now. We saw what happened with R. Kelly. We saw what happened. Bill Cosby got canceled. Think about all the money that Bill Cosby cost to people, like the guy who played Theo and the girl who played Denise and Sabrina, whatever their names were in that show. Felicia Rashad. They were making money off of streaming, off of reruns.
Yeah, the syndication.
Gets pulled off the air. And not only did Bill Cosby ruin the lives or assault people along the way, but he damaged the careers of the people who are the money-making ability of everybody who worked on his shows.
Yeah.
So cancel culture started to exist, about 20 years ago? And we go back as far back as like maybe 1990. With 1988 with Bill Cosby. But we don't go back into the 70s. We don't go back into the 60s and the 50s. We don't go back to Jerry Lee Lewis. Elvis Presley had a thing for teenage girls. And when I say teenage girls, I'm not talking about 17, 18-year-olds. I'm talking about 14, 15 years old.
How old was his wife? What was her name? The girl,
Priscilla Presley.
Priscilla Presley.
He met her when she was 14,
exactly.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So he started dating her when she was 14 years old.
I'm going to see if I can find an article about something like this, about other people who could have been canceled in the past. But, Elvis is the one that sticks out the most. I don't know. Can't find it.
You know what? I saw this here too. I mean, but, the cancel culture movements and all that plays a big part in, not just ruining one celebrity, but it could ruin others because, like you were saying with the Cosby Show, with Bill Cosby being canceled, now you took away that revenue stream from the other actors that were on the Cosby Show. They're no longer getting money from that show because it's no longer in syndication anywhere.
Well, what the show that's very difficult for me to kind of get over. You and I talked about iCarly the other day.
Yeah,
we have
all the cochino stuff that was going on behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, Dan Schneider was the creator of that show. And Dan Schneider is known as being a cochino. And he hid in those shows, iCarly, Victorious, Zoe
showing
101.
Feet and all this kind of stuff.
I mean,
bro.
It was the spraying of lotion to make it look like end shots, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And he peppered these kids' TV shows, these teenage TV shows, which I've seen them all, and I love them all because I grew up with and I remember watching this going, that can't be right, but you let it slide because you don't think that it's not the one thing, it's the totality of it all. It's the totality of it all.
I thought they canceled the Cosby Show, but look at here.
Well,
no,
you will find it in some places in syndication. It's just you won't find it where it could have been.
Like I'm not Netflix or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that it's canceled forever.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's not in all the places where it could have been. Like that 70s show is another one that was in syndication that was very popular. It's not that you can't find it in syndication. It's just it's not as prevalent as it could have been or would have been.
Yeah, because of the character Hyde.
Because of Hyde, and even later on Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis pissing people off, and then Wilmer Valderrama being kind of a predator.
Cochino.
He wasn't a predator. He was just basically
that whole show was filled with cochinos, dude.
Yeah, except for Topher Grace.
He said, "I'm gone, dude. I'm out of here." He's the only smart one.
Yeah, Topher Grace has a really good movie. If you want to have like a good little romantic comedy. Topher Grace was in a movie with Scarlett Johansson.
He's a good actor, dude.
Called In Good Company. Came out in 2004.
Yeah, I saw that movie. It was a good movie, but he's a good actor, dude.
Yeah, he is good.
He is good, man.
Dennis Quaid is also in that movie.
I like Dennis Quaid as an actor, dude.
I do too. Like, I'm not saying he bats 1,000, but he bats up there.
I like that movie that he made, The Rookie.
Yes.
With the baseball.
Yes.
That was good.
About West Texas.
Mm-hmm. That was a good film, dude.
Topher Grace has a movie that came out, oh my goodness, probably about 20 years ago that he talks about all the time. Did you ever see the movie? What's that movie with Jim Carrey? It's the movie where it's the reality show around him.
The Truman Show.
Truman Show. One of my favorite shows. Favorite movies. I just couldn't think about it.
You know that came out at the same time that the Matrix was in the theaters.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is 25 years ago this year. So the Truman Show has Laura Linney in it, and Laura Linney was in a movie with Topher Grace. This is where I was getting back together with him.
Yeah.
Topher Grace talks about the most embarrassing moment that he ever had in entertainment was he had to do a sex scene with Laura Linney, and Laura Linney had to tell him to pat that crap down because he was getting way too excited, if you know what I mean. And you're not supposed to be feeling that way if you are an actor.
Yeah.
And Topher Grace in an interview was like how mortified he was that he couldn't stop getting aroused with Laura Linney on top of him. And I thought about it, and I'm like, well, Laura Linney is 15 years older than him, so she was probably like 40. He was probably like 23, 24. Do you blame him, Joe?
I don't, man. I mean, she's cute, dude.
Now, Laura Linney's 60 now, but we're talking about when she was probably 40.
She was cute, man.
She was a nugget. Sam Salinas. She was a nugget. So yeah. So look for an interview on that. If y'all have chance. Topher Grace talking about Laura Linney. It's so funny, man. He's like she got on top of me. She was breathing on me, and she was so pretty. And I couldn't help it. I couldn't help. And then she had to like tell him settle down. Funny, man.
Look at this. Vane Stain saying Truman Show. Yeah, go look up that old film, man. It was funny.
It's a great movie. That's a classic movie.
Yeah. You know what? As we start bringing things to an end here, one of the things I want to talk about real quick to bring the show to an end is one of my friends, man, last week, I was telling them there's been rumors abound, and we've been seeing it on social media. UTSA is rumored to want to join the Pac-12.
Say that again?
I said UTSA is rumored to want to join the Pac-12.
Along with Texas State.
Texas State, right? He's like, no, they're not. That's just fake news and this and that. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, dude. This is something that we've been hearing. We've even talked about it on the show. And lo and behold, JJ Pettis, the great JJ Pettis is always covering UTSA. He put out there, UTSA head coach Jeff Traylor says on his weekly radio show that the Pac-12 is a real discussion for UTSA.
No, and it's got to happen. Can you show me like the graphic of like you showed me a graphic the other day about the Pac-12 possibilities.
I got to look that up, but I'll get it on here.
The Pac-12 needs to rebuild itself after UCLA, USC, Oregon, Washington all left, right? So they have to rebuild themselves. And as we talked about it with Johnny Walker the other day, who, by the way, will be on tomorrow, given his insight for UT football and also for the Cowboys this weekend. Think about the schools that they're looking at when it comes to replacing it. We heard the names Boise State, not exciting.
Yeah.
We heard the names Colorado State. To me, not exciting. Sam Salinas saying make the Pac-12 relevant again, right? But the schools that they're looking at, when you look at UTSA and Texas State, people and the other cities are UNLV and Gonzaga.
Yeah, here it is. I found the graphic, and there you go.
Okay.
Schools to watch for expansion.
This right here is fascinating. Okay, because right away it's not going to be a big deal, right? So right now, schools to watch for expansion. UTSA. Why would UTSA be a draw? Well, we're the 7th largest U.S. city. We are a top 35 market in the country, right? Why would Texas State? Texas State is not listed on that list there, but Texas State is rumored to be part of the mix. What's Texas State's media market? Austin. To some extent, San Antonio.
Yeah.
An attraction for both cities. So you take a look at Cal and Stanford returning. UNLV, Las Vegas. Where are all the professional sports teams going? They're going to Sin City. Of course you would attract them. Air Force. Why? Because you need to have a military presence. You need to have the patriotic aspect of it all, the history, the history of it all, the patriotism, the history, and all the pageantry of it all. I think they're doing the right thing. Tulane is New Orleans. Memphis is Memphis. Stanford is what? Back to the old school Pac-12, but it's also the Bay Area. They're doing it the right way if they come out and get UTSA.
Look at Tony Ornelas. It's not going to happen for UTSA because Mike said San Antonio is a poor city.
San Antonio has a lot of people.
You know, the thing is, though, how is UTSA going to pay for all this travel? Because, I mean, right now, they do have to travel, right, to go and play some of these other teams.
Right, but the Pac-12 will get a television deal, and each team will feast off of it, and they're just going to have to make do with it. The problem that you're going to have with UTSA is not the football team. It's the basketball team. The Convocation Center sucks.
Oh, dude, that place is in shambles, man. It's so old.
That place is awful. I mean, I remember going there in the 90s.
It was old back then.
It was old then. And then the baseball team, you know, because
have you seen the baseball diamond?
I went there. I saw them play Texas
State.
Dude, it has like a seating for 1,000 people.
It's all right.
That's not even all right. It's not. It's not college.
I've seen it.
It's not Power 5 football, Power 5 baseball. That is, high schools. When I went to go see Goldberg's son play over at that high school at Southwest Legacy, Southwest Legacy had a better baseball facility than UTSA does.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's all right, you know?
No, it's not even all right. It's poor. It's poor.
You know what?
They have no room.
I used to have to
There's no stands.
I parked there, right? Because I was helping my daughter, you know, when we're looking at seeing the dorms and all that. They had that open house. We had to park right there, right by the baseball diamond and the facility, the sports facility they have out there. And you look at the new sports facility, and it's right there. You've seen it, right, Mike? The new sports facility that they have, right? And then you see the baseball diamond. I'm like, come on, bro.
Dude, the baseball diamond looks like the Sandlot.
And it has that like blue, like a screen that's all over the fence, right?
Yeah.
Kind of blocking the view of it and all that. I'm just like,
it's like the Sandlot, dude. It's a little league field.
It's tiny, bro.
It's a little league field.
I walked past it and I was like, man.
I'm not even sure they have fences in the outfield. I don't even remember.
Yeah, they just have like a little chain fence. The chain link. It's a chain link fence.
All right, fellas. Everyone have a fantastic day again tonight. You've got the Patriots taking on the Jets. Jets favored by 6. We'll talk about that game tomorrow. We're going to have Johnny Walker, former Texas Longhorn great, former Holmes Husky great, member of the Texas High School Hall of Fame, will be with us tomorrow. Last week, you predicted that UT would beat UTSA 56-7. What was the final score, Joe?
What was it?
56-7. He nailed it. Nailed it. Very, very nice. We'll be talking more about week 3 of the NFL as well. My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends. Tell people what we're doing over here. Again, this is the Alamo City Sportscast. My name is Mike. That's Joe. See you guys tomorrow.
See ya.